So for a while now, I get most of my cool, hip gaming news off of Twitter. I know, yeah, it is Twitter, believe me, I don't want to be on that cesspit more than I have to, but that's where I go to see if there's any new indie games coming out, or any news regarding a certain game, or anything really. And because of that, there are a few games that were, or are on my radar to play in the future. One of these games was the Greyhill Incident. I was so interested and so excited for this game when I first heard about it earlier this year. Like, in a time where extraterrestrial beings and the unknown is becoming more widespread, with strange monoliths being found in the middle of nowhere and then it's somehow vanishing out of nowhere like a father to an Aiden Ross fan. Or maybe some strange things are flying in some weird paths at night that simply just cannot be answered by anyone. Or the strange fact that there are people who think that the new Flash movie is actually good. My point being is that there's just a growing amount of unanswered questions about life outside of Earth, and to have a game like the Greyhill Incident release where it both pokes fun of and takes alien life horrifyingly serious, I thought I was going to be in for a good time. And then the game released, and it's not good. Now, the Greyhill Incident is a survival horror game that was released to the public on June 9th of this year. This game was created and published by Refugium Games, I probably butchered that name, with this being their first ever release. Unfortunately though, their first release would also be their first flop, because even before playing this game, I saw nothing but negative reviews, both from users who played this game and from bigger reviewers like IGN. Granted, this is IGN we are talking about. They're not really known for releasing good takes, so of course I had to play this game myself to really understand what is all in the Greyhill Incident. Now, before I discuss what is in the actual game, I wanted to first discuss the store page, as I found a couple of, red flags that really put me off from wanting to play this. First, you notice a very broken English description of the game, a couple run-on sentences, random capitalization, you name it, but my favorite line has to be hands down, "It's the early 90s in the US, and the media talks about weather balloons and conspiracy theories, but residents of the small neighborhood soon realize the government is lying." Whew, that's some Shakespeare type shit right there. But then you have what I think is just hands down the greatest business decision I've ever seen in my life, which is including a hefty extras bundle for only $4, which includes a black and white VHS filter, a black and white VHS filter. I mean, it is a great addition, I must say. Worth every penny. Anyways, enough said, let's get into the actual game. You are Ryan Baker, a single dad living in the small town known as Greyhill, America. Here, though, not much really happens. There's the occasional cow here and there. Cornfields are a popular thing here, too. Oh, and aliens are invading this town after trying to do so some odd years back. Typical small town America. Off the bat, by the way, this game has a huge plot dump in the beginning cutscene. You figure out who you are, where you are, strange sightings, the government throwing people in mental hospitals if they reported any aliens, a cat being missing, your kid going missing but coming back strange, your crazy neighborhood watch, your crazy neighbor who served Vietnam, your other crazy neighbor who was abducted by aliens before, and that also you can stop by for some tea. It just felt so weird being thrown into a cutscene like that. There was way too much information given to me in such a small time. And you would think in a game about the unknown landing on Earth, you would be left in the dark on everything. But in the Greyhill Incident, you're immediately given the knowledge of aliens being present, nobody can be trusted, aliens have already probed other people and animals, and then there's some other useless info being sprinkled in, like how your crazy neighbor has guns because he served in Vietnam. Yeah, America, guns and shit. Whatever though, for the rest of the story, everything feels alright, I guess. I mean, aliens are here, the government tries to deny it, so you're by yourself in this town, and your son gets kidnapped by the aliens, so you have to rescue him. The story is very basic. It's not bad, but it's not good either, which I guess I'll take nonetheless. I would rather have a basic story than a bad one, so there's that. Actually, there is something in the story that makes it just a tad bit memorable, and it's not even the story itself, it's the dialogue. It is so bad, so broken, I can't understand what's happening. There was a comment that I saw in a video about this game which perfectly summed it up, and that was, "Can't convince me AI didn't write this script," and maybe they did. Take a listen to what has to be said in this amazing game.
Henry, tell me what you saw in the forest today.
You should ask Rachel, that crazy girl.
Henry, there's someone in your room. Is Rachel in there?
God, I hope not. She should stop bothering me.
What's going on with you, Henry? Tell me.
It sounds almost normal, like it's almost there. It's not there, but, you know, almost. I don't know, though. Maybe Refugium isn't based in a country where English is the primary language. I can't really fault them for that if that is the reason, but nonetheless, it is hilarious to listen to any of these characters talk. By the way, you said your name is Ryan, right? Well, I have something to tell you, Ryan. The entire government knows about the aliens. Such a good plot twist. Oh my god. The next thing to talk about is the gameplay, and it's not good. It is by far the worst part of the Greyhill Incident. I felt more lost than I did anything else, which is crazy because I can tell that there was some sort of pattern to the game. Usually you would be given another plot dump maybe by yourself or someone next to you or by a walkie-talkie, and then you're given the task to investigate a certain area, one that becomes blocked off and inaccessible if you're not to that point of the game, or will close off if you are in that point of the game. Usually in that certain area, you need to find a point of interest to collect something, whether that is some nails, a probed cat, or some top secret information from the government just lying in a cop car. What's really annoying about these points of interest though is that usually you have a giant area outside that you need to explore to discover that item, but because it's midnight outside and the fog just so happened to roll up, your vision is so impaired that you can barely see 2 feet in front of you. The items or paths that let you go to the next area, however, are lit up to help the player go to wherever they're supposed to. That is good. I won't complain about something that'll help me out in the long run, but the actual objectives are usually at the corner or brushed off to the side of the overall area, so you have this ginormous space that does absolutely nothing. Speaking of which, the actual objectives of what you're supposed to do are also brushed off to the pause menu of the game and is so very vague, so wandering around until you eventually find something out is more common than you would think. Oh my god, I'm this long into the video and I haven't even discussed the aliens. Okay, so your primary antagonist in this game is the aliens. I mean, of course, that's a no-brainer. These aliens are your typical small gray creatures with awkward stances and big black eyes. They're like the aliens from South Park that move for some fucking reason. They're not scary. I mean, I did kind of laugh more than I did get scared solely because of how they walk. But once that novelty wore off, I became so uninterested in this game. So these enemies are more number-based than anything else. You can kill them, but more will just be attracted to attack you, which is cool. You usually have 2 choices to approach the enemy. You can either fight them or run from them, but neither of the 2 works out well. For attacking, you have 2 weapons to start off. That is a revolver and a baseball bat. The baseball bat does nothing other than stagger the aliens, which if you miss, and it is easy to do so, you have to wait 10 seconds before you can, I guess, muster up the strength to swing again. Your other weapon, the revolver, is actually able to put down the aliens after a few shots. But from what I understand, you can only get ammo from doing missions? Question mark? I mean, I never found any ammo to collect for the brief time that I played, and the only time I did get some was because it was given to me. So really, once I ran out of ammo, I had no use to fight the aliens. Running instead does not help. Your stamina bar runs out so quickly and takes forever to recharge. I felt like if I ever once got spotted by an alien, I could never escape from it because it walking at a constant pace obviously caught up to me running for 5 seconds and using another 40 to catch my breath. You can hide from the enemies in different spots to lose them, like a trash can, a bed, or an outhouse, you name it. But even then, I would get caught by the aliens without even being spotted by them in the first place. I know I said a lot of negative things about the Greyhill Incident, so with that, I want to say just a couple things I did like or appreciate, just so I don't sound like I hate everything about this and Refugium. First off, I enjoyed the soundtrack and the ambiance within Greyhill. I think the chase music was definitely a good fit, for example, as that may or may not have actually scared the living shit out of me. You know, maybe not. And like I said too, the ambiance made Greyhill feel so much more unnerving even when I wasn't doing anything. I also want to take the time to appreciate Refugium. I am totally not saying the company name right. That is like something that looks easy to say, but I just can't say the name right. Anyways, yeah, I appreciated them as a company and their entire response to all the backlash that they've received since the game's release up to when I'm making this script, which is June 19th. I wonder how many days I'm gonna procrastinate until releasing this shit. Anyways, since since then, they've released 6 whole updates trying to fix some bugs, glitches, and quality of life issues. Which, bringing it back to what I said in the beginning of the video, first impressions mean everything. And when you see a company like Refugium release constant update after update, you can't help but appreciate all the hardworking devs who want to create something good and entertaining. Overall though, I am just disappointed by the Greyhill Incident. I was hoping for a long time that this would be the next big alien horror game, but it fell flat on almost everything. I don't want to drag this game, or any game for that matter, through the mud, but flat out, this was just not fun to play. And for the game being $25 on Steam with additional DLC already being added that feels more like a ripoff than anything, I'm not happy with the game, plain and simple. At this moment right now, I simply cannot recommend this game for anyone to play. But what did you all think of the Greyhill Incident? Did you all like it, hate it? Leave it down in the comments below. But other than that, I'm gonna leave this video here. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys like this video, maybe hit that like button and subscribe. But other than that, I will see you all on another video. Bye for now.